This is a meeting of the Gulfstown Sewer Commission. It's 13 May. And as introductions, we'll start with Corey and go around the table, please.
Corey White, Sewer Superintendent.
Lynn Pooler, Sewer Secretary.
David Pierce, Chair.
Daniel Taylor, Commissioner.
Michael Trank, Consulting Engineer.
Jim Craig, Select Board Rep.
We have one commissioner, Tim Redmond, is absent this evening. The first item that we always do is public comment for people who are not part of the agenda. I open the public comment, but I don't see anybody that is not here for an agenda item, so I will, 6:01, close the public hearing. Lynn, for your minutes. We will delay the approval of minutes for our next session, Lynn.
Okay.
Is there, unless there's something that needs to get authorized for
No.
money? No. So we will immediately go into our new business. And Jeff Merritt, I understand you're representing Joe Persili.
Well, so we're actually representing the applicant, which is purchasing. Joe is actually works for my firm, so.
Yes.
But nevertheless, we're representing the applicant who is proposing to purchase this property. I'm sure the commission knows where this is. This is the old Masonic Lodge on Mountain Road.
Now I recognize you.
Yeah, yeah. We saw you not long ago. So,
Yeah.
Masonic Lodge, brick building that's out there today, built 1970s or so, 1975. It's been kind of underutilized for a number of years, and they're looking to sell it. The applicant's looking to purchase it and change the use of the building. They're proposing to convert it to multifamily. What they would do is they would salvage the brick building that's out there today. That would have be converted to 8 units, and then that's the yellow rectangle you see on the plan there. And then the blue rectangle that you see is a proposed addition, and in that would be 2-story addition, and it would have 4 more units, so 2 on the first floor and 2 on the second.
And just for the record, what have you done with the planning board?
Lots. This project needed a handful of variances, so we've received a bunch of variances, and we did 2 meetings with the planning board to hear the project and have a public hearing on it. They voted, I guess it was last week, to conditionally approve the project. And then, of course, we're here tonight just to talk about the sewer. There is a sewer service that feeds the building today, or services the building. It's a commercial service, 6-inch, not intending to get into the street to do a new service or anything like that. Architect wants to utilize the existing service, so we'd utilize that. The service, as far as the records are concerned, it goes towards Knollcrest Road, the main that's in Knollcrest. It shoots out to the north, if you will.
And so you'll be tying into where the old service comes out of the building, just tying into that.
Yeah, exactly. We're going to use the
I
existing.
know, I believe your water line has a problem because you have to do that work before the road gets resurfaced.
Yeah, we do need a bigger water line size. I don't believe the building's sprinkled today, so we're going to sprinkle it as part of this, so we have to get into the road, and there's going to be a moratorium on Knollcrest shortly.
Corey, explain what the present treatment unit rate is for that building.
Right now, it's only being billed for 1 treatment unit. You would be increasing it 11 more. So that comes with an accessibility fee of $5,000 per unit.
So 5,000 times 11.
Yep.
And that's accessibility.
Yes.
And then there'd be, of course, an annual use fee that the owner of the building would, for the condo association. Is it condo association?
No.
Pays the bill, or each?
It's going to be the property owner's going to be
Yes.
Yep. So there's an annual use fee as well. Okay.
So Corey, how do we divide up the accessibility fee? That's even before there's tenants, owners. The developer?
The developer, yeah.
Yes.
Pays the accessibility fee before any COs are
Okay.
released.
So
And at
prior
some-
to CO,
Yeah.
$5,000
Yep.
times 11.
So
It could be the day
at
before,
some
it doesn't
point,
matter.
at some point, we have the addresses of the prospective owners of the
Well,
unit.
I have a question. Are these going to be rental properties?
They are. So
Because for rental properties, we don't bill the renters. We would bill the owner,
The
whoever
landlord,
owns it, the
yeah.
landlord. And if they want to bill the renters, they can, but we would not send separate bills to every unit.
Right, so this would just be rentals, so there'd be one owner of all.
Okay, and that's who would get the bill?
Okay.
Okay, just wanted to clarify
Yep.
that.
So we just want to, and our system has sufficient capacity for these 11 more treatment units?
It does.
Thank you. Any other, Dan, any questions?
Covered everything I was gonna ask.
Motion.
Motion to,
I don't think we need
or
a
wait.
motion. We don't need a motion for that, you just have to.
Just-
Okay,
yeah,
then we acknowledge that there's sufficient capacity and you may connect to the source system and
Great.
we'll bill you appropriately.
Great, well, thanks, guys, I appreciate it.
Probably one of your quickest engineering meetings.
Yeah, boy, this beats the planning board, I guess. Thanks, guys, appreciate it.
So, next on the new business is Libby Street. Mr. Bernie Temple?
Yep.
And
I do have,
basically the same thing, just
Basically
explain
the
what
same
you
thing.
want to do with the sewer department.
do you guys want a plan to look at it all, or it's not much here?
No, not really, no, just explain the situation.
I'm working with SNH Land Services and Roki Consulting. This is an existing lot on Libby Street. It is at the end of the road, currently undeveloped. And the owner has been working with the town he's gonna develop the lot. In order to do that, he has to extend the town road up to the lot, put a turnaround in the fire department, with the fire department. We've worked with the fire department in the town already. And because of the lot size, you will need municipal sewer and water. Both of these
Yes,
come from, have to come from Orchard, because Libby Street has, at the end, has no sewer and water. So what we're proposing is, he's gonna improve, the road to a town road up to a turnaround for the fire department. We've worked with the fire department on the turnaround, worked with Scott on that. And the utilities are gonna come from Orchard down here. There's already a water stub, and we already have our water connection permit and everything for Manchester Water. And we're gonna propose an E1 pump system and pump up to the existing sewer manhole, which is on the other side of Orchard. It's gonna be a small pump with an 1.25 inch force main.
so Corey, you inspect all of that installation of the
Correct,
pump and lines
correct.
in the street as well as in the property.
Yep.
So you do the street too.
Street and, yeah, anything to deal with sewer, whether
Yep.
it's on private property or.
Okay, and a fee for cutting into the street, or permit for cutting into the street, does that go through you or through Scott?
It'll go through me.
Okay. Yep.
So undeveloped property, so it's going from no historical treatment unit as a connection fee to one treatment unit. So that's a one-time $5,000 charge. And once it's going through the technicalities, Corey, is there some capacity in our source system to provide that flow to Manchester?
Yes, there is.
And so, any other concerns that we need to be aware of?
Not-
Do we provide plans and everything
Yeah.
to you?
Mhm.
Okay. We will be getting those to you soon.
sounds good.
Mr. Taylor?
We have proper capacity to accept it. You can move forward.
I agree. Thank you for coming
Thank you so
forward.
much.
We just have to take this technical approval
Yeah,
step.
no, this is great.
So you're aware of what we need and you
Yeah.
need.
Thank you, guys.
Just mowing them down.
Dale, I met you last week at the pump station,
Yes, we did.
so you're well versed of what we need to have here.
I think for the most part, yeah.
Explain your project.
So my project is on 140 South Mass Street. We're in the process of subdividing the lot. We have a meeting to go in front of the planning board next week. Part of subdividing the other lot would be what we're proposing is a single family 2,500 square feet home. We would need to bring a brand new water and sewer line from the road to the new property. I mean the new dwelling that'll
The
be
half
built
that's
on.
being subdivided off.
Yeah. So that's why I'm here.
So Corey, you've seen the plans for where this new house is going to be built?
I have.
And any concerns about the sewer line being connected into the trunk out there on South Mass?
Absolutely not.
Okay. Well, things looking well, Dale. Same technical question. We have capacity in our system to service this customer?
We do.
Great. Same thing. Dan, you agree?
I agree.
I agree. So you're all set.
Thank you.
See how easy we are? I told you.
Appreciate it. Have a great night.
Have a good night.
Under road business, we have emergency, your preparedness to handle emergency calls?
No,
Yep.
what we had asked him to do is every meeting, this will be on the agenda every meeting, and he's just going to update us on any emergency calls that he has during the
That
month.
has occurred?
Yeah.
So, yeah, what has occurred?
There's just one call for a backup at the laundromat, just about across the street, last Monday.
Laundry, that's in Bernardville area?
No, the
This one-
laundromat right here.
This one
Yeah.
right here.
That was the only call we had.
It was you or
That was Keith.
Keith
Yeah,
responding?
I was in Florida.
And he adequately resolved it?
Yes, it wasn't our issue, thankfully.
You have trained him well then?
Yeah, that was an interesting one for him, so.
Okay. Corey, you have proposals before us concerning irrigation system.
They do.
And what's the nature of all those proposals?
So the nature of these proposals are redoing the irrigation at East Union Pump Station and fixing the lawn to stop any washouts. So I had these three different companies come in and look at it, and I got prices, and my recommendation is to go with the one in the total amount of $15,050.
Now, we have an estimate from Gulfstown Green Thumb totaling $5,008, and we have on the high side we have one from Brian Fournier Landscaping. What's that total?
$17,240.
It's a
Broken down.
multiple page estimate,
Oh.
but it all adds up to 17,240. And we have one in the middle, Firmly Rooted Landscaping, 15,050. Obviously, the low bid was 5,800, but there was something lacking in the scope of his
Yeah,
project.
he isn't set up to do the additional work that we needed. He only specifically does irrigation.
Mhm.
And that would be just irrigation, and then that's it.
So for the total scope of the project, we have two effective bids.
Correct.
And Unless, Dan, I'd make a motion if you, to go with the low bid at that point, $15,550. Because it satisfies all the requirements that Corey wants done on the project.
Both Hunter Systems.
So considerable landscaping first, then, of course, the installation of the irrigation system.
Correct.
I'll make a motion to accept the estimate submitted by Firmly Rooted Landscaping for the East Union Street irrigation system project
Yes, I agree. I'll second.
In the amount.
in the
of-
amount of $15,050.
And I agree with that motion, second. And our vote is yes.
Yay.
Yes. Need anything else, Corey?
Not for that, nope.
50% up front, balance due at the end of the project.
He's done a lot of work. Chris Champagne's the owner. He's done a lot of work for DPW, so I don't think that's going to be an issue.
No.
The next item is a review of what we call a drain layers license. Did you mention a revision of the actual form, or there's things dealing with the financial?
It was. This might be a better discussion with Tim here.
I was
but-
just gonna say, Tim is the one that asked for this at the last meeting. He wanted him to bring the current one and have us review it and see if we wanted to make any changes
Mark it out.
to it,
So-
mark it up.
For Tim and I to take this home, review it for the next session as to any changes we might want to make, and be prepared for that discussion?
Correct, and I'll just let you guys know that I talked with the city of Manchester, and we were talking at the last meeting about how it's a $10 fee, and do we make people renew their license every year, or fine them if they don't, or something like that, and the city of Manchester does not do that.
So they have a one-time process of getting a license,
Exactly.
which
And
is
then-
a fee into itself,
Correct.
but then the renewal,
Is-
if and when it occurs, you're recommending for discussion next month, if and when that renewal occurs, whether it's the following year or 3 years out,
Exactly, then you pay your
To
your
pay
fee, and
$10.
you
What's the Manchester's fee?
Manchester's fee is 50, and that was something I was gonna bring up as well.
whether it has to be an increased fee.
Hmm.
So we'll be prepared for that discussion next month.
Yeah, table it till next month.
And whether to review the form too. Mike, do all of your activities, do you ever get involved with the licenses for the people working on source systems?
Not training.
No, you don't get into the depth of the contractor doing that. Thank you, Corey.
You're welcome.
Well, I asked Corey to bring a list in of, Dan, potential projects that are being considered for this summer. Just so we have something written as to where we're spending lots of money. Just quickly, Corey, go down through the list of the items and explain them.
So first we have Warren Ave. We know we have an issue there.
Yeah.
So there's the 80 feet of 8-inch line clay pipe we'd like to replace to avoid any more further issues on that
Yeah.
street.
Where are we in actually then proceeding into a contract?
waiting on more bidders, or people to give me some numbers.
So Mike, you help out in that aspect, don't you? Getting the bids?
Not for something.
It's that, yeah,
He has
it's
it.
small enough that it's under the town's threshold to put it out to bid.
Do you hope to have at least 2 bids by the next meeting?
Yes, I have one, but I'm still waiting. I'd like to get 2 more, but
Yep, and that needs to be taken care of sooner than later, because we're already on notice of a
issue.
backup
Yeah.
that was
That-
on us.
Once that work takes place, one thing we have to take into account, the road's under a moratorium, and we're gonna fall under the moratorium rules. We're paving curb to curb, probably 100 feet of that road.
We need to do it.
We gotta do it.
Yep.
And the best time to actually start digging on Warren Ave is July or August, because of the groundwater up there. It is, even in August, it's bad.
It's running high towards the surface.
Yep. That whole hillside's kind of a nightmare to dig in.
Well, please push with whoever the vendors are you're reaching out to that you desperately need a bid. Sometimes even if they're qualified to be a bidder and they simply tell you, we're so full of work, we can't bid,
Thanks.
that has a lot of acceptability as well.
Yes, and I already have one guy that,
So,
too busy.
unless something urgent occurs, we'll expect that in the next session. Thank you. But if it's truly urgent, let Lynn know and we'll call a meeting.
Yep.
Okay, paving to replace something you can't plow.
Yes, so the paving work at Riverview Pump Station, I don't have any numbers on that one. I haven't reached out to any pavers yet. There's not a huge rush on that.
Is this something that we could go under a town contract with Continental, or do you have to have a separate bid?
That might fit into Continental being the town bid. Will they actually get to it? That's a whole nother story. But I'll reach out to he's co-owner of Continental that I deal with and ask him if that's something.
Would they accept the project under our standing town bid for the season?
Correct.
Okay, and then,
The third is changing the rest of the remaining pump stations over to the Mission system, which is the cell system where it tracks everything and automatically emails it to me. And if there's any issues, it automatically just calls me.
How has that been working for you?
The other pump stations is fantastic. It just,
And we've had that
that's,
for a couple years now.
That's the one on the
at
north
least.
side of the river?
correct.
Yeah.
That any issues, like even last week, Eversource cut the power down there because they were doing some work, and within 3 seconds I get a phone call saying that the power is out. Just
How's the generator work?
generator works good over there. It has its hiccups, but it started and it ran well.
Okay, and number 4, we've already discussed fixing the irrigation system at East Union, so that one's done, thank you. Frames and cover, I think you presented me some bids.
There is a couple bids. And this work is taking place on Knollcrest and Ashler, which is right behind Cumberland's. The top of the structure, the cones, which is the top of the structure, they're rotten. And DPW is gonna pave that neighborhood, so we wanna make sure we get them changed out before it causes a sinkhole on a brand new road.
Are the cones
Precast concrete.
Concrete?
Yep.
Not built up with blocks?
Yeah,
Precast.
luckily that all got put in back in the late 90s, early 2000s, so it's all modern.
And where are the precast units right now?
That's on the contractor. They'll source the new ones to swap them over.
Based on whatever your specifications are.
Yeah, it's a state standard where they have to be coated, and the existing ones are not coated, which is part of the problem.
And you're covered with whatever authorization we have to make for you to proceed into the contract? You
Correct.
already did that? Okay, thank you. Well, I'm sorry, you got the bids for it?
I got the bids for it, and it falls under the $10,000 for finance, so.
One of them does.
You're-
One of them does, yeah.
So, you are going under contract then with Surratt and Sons?
Correct. And there's various frames and covers around town, as you can see, that are sunk down and need to be brought back to grade and fixed.
Okay.
Do they,
For this project?
that wouldn't be covered under this though.
That's not under that
Yeah.
specific one.
This is for.
And those ones don't need new cones necessarily, just grade ring replacement? or-
Yeah, they need new
Or just
brick and mortar.
add in another.
Mhm,
And this is specifically for
Right.
3 manholes.
correct.
Are customers going to be inconvenienced for a few hours, or?
Not really.
Okay.
Maybe traffic, but you can go any which way up there, so it shouldn't be a big deal. We don't need to shut anything down.
Then, yeah, okay, proceed under your authority to sign a contract and get the cone work done. Okay.
So next we have CCTV of existing sewer mains. And that's my big push for our future, depending on where DPW goes. But we will have money in our budget to start CCTVing.
Yeah, we've been discussing that for a couple of meetings. It's essential for us to have more recent TV coverage of the sewer line so we can better focus where we desperately have to do replacement, whether the road is going to be done.
Exactly, and try to get
Or not.
ahead of, we know that when Public Works has the money, they're gonna pretty much go all the way down the line of I call it the heights, the right side of Mast Road, and eventually the flats. But I wanna start CCTV basically where we've left off. We've done half of, like the College Road neighborhood right there, all of that has been cambered. I want to start going down the line back towards the village on Mass Road, because I know there's spots on like Orchard Street where when we clean it, you will pull back rocks. Rocks shouldn't be in there. No. So I know there's issues on that hillside, and I'd like to start there and work our way down. So when we need to do, if it's good enough to line, we can get numbers for lining. And if there's point repairs that need to be done, we can start getting numbers.
So lining and point repairs are not something that has to be engineered out ahead of time. You can, Yeah,
It depends on how big the scope is. If an entire, we go on camera and we find that there's 300 or 400 feet that,
so, have we haven't engaged Mike to do any detailed surveying and planning yet?
not for TVing and point repairs. But if we need to, then we'll get Mike involved.
Okay. Yeah, so I don't want to get to a point in the future where we're saying we really needed to start work, but we need Mike to get, 4 months worth of surveying and detailed plans done first, so
I would
we
be,
need to engage our consultant early on.
yep, and I already have a little project for him.
Okay.
So, would we need Mike for like an RFP or anything, or?
I
No,
don't think
not
so.
before the TV work is done, because it's an unknown.
The whole,
Yeah.
we're trying to find the issues. So that would be putting a dollar number as to, say like 2026, what we wanted to invest for camera work. And then the camera work we'll do this year, you can find the point repairs and stuff that you can line. And then next summer, that's your work. So you're going down the line, camera, making all your repairs for the next year.
Well, I've talked to you privately, Corey. I personally would urge you to be very aggressive in handling video taping of the sewer lines and leading into those repair contracts.
I've been doing a lot of research on different
And,
companies.
if we need to lower the risk of some failure, even though the town's not gonna do their drainage construction, we still need to proceed,
Absolutely.
even though it might take our project a little bit more expensive.
Yep.
So, please, don't be bashful in getting into contracts.
No, I won't be. And the last thing on our list here is Laurel Street. That's a known issue. The manhole is settled. And so I haven't gotten two more numbers on that yet, but I have one set of numbers
Okay.
to replace the existing manhole and approximately 25 feet. We might have to go less, we might have to go a little bit more, but I imagine it's about 25 feet either side to make the pipe back to the correct grade.
Dan, any comments on further work we might be engaged with? This list is pretty comprehensive.
Yeah, it
in
is.
itself.
No, everything seems to be covered.
Just want to say, we had people from Laurel Street come in yesterday at the select board meeting, and we're gonna have DPW in next week and talk about if there's anything we can do for it, so you might want to.
Yeah, that's on, I want to get that done sooner than later because I talked with Adam Jacobs yesterday.
Okay, so we're gonna talk, and so maybe.
Yeah, he gave me that heads up.
Jim, just a side issue, maybe 6 or 7 years ago when driving around town, I would on occasion bounce over a sunken manhole, and I would say a few bad words about the sewer department. I don't say any bad words anymore. I just bounce over them. But Corey's going to take care of them.
As many as I can.
Thank you, Corey. Okay, we have before us a warrant authorizing Lynn to send bills to some 2,000 customers. And
You put the amount down there.
we certainly want to proceed with that, right?
Yes. He needs the amount though, it's on the
Oh,
front
this
page
is,
of that letter.
I need, where is it?
That's right, the amount right there. A warrant in Call It Inc.
I didn't mean to do that.
Yours.
That was a mistake.
We run a high-class outfit
Yeah,
here.
no, that was a mistake.
Mine only prints black and white.
What would you like to do with this warrant, Dan?
Motion to approve the May 2025 sewer warrant in the amount of $925,823.10.
I certainly endorse that with a second. And how shall we vote on that?
Vote yay.
I vote nay, so Lynn, we got a favorable vote.
All right, thank you.
You can proceed in sending bills out to 2,000 customers.
I need you guys to sign. Tim will come in and sign it later, he said. Oh, sorry, I should have changed the order.
Okay, there you go.
Thank you.
Keep you busy for at least 2 days.
I'm pretty much done, I've been doing it.
Until you almost broke your finger down.
No, this is stupid.
Dan, the next item is reviewing drain layer. I thought we already,
That's just the one that you guys need to
Do we
sign.
have new
Yeah, Tim-
applications?
Tim had asked for any new applications to come each month, so that's what that was.
Any new applications?
That's just the most current.
so, and he's already paid with a check.
Yeah,
So this is information only that he's paid for an
Yeah.
application.
just needs your
But this is
signature.
a renewal.
It's a renewal, yep.
Yeah.
Just needs your signature.
And somewhere on the last page,
Yeah, down by the bottom.
okay, we'll keep drain layer Persett Brothers busy.
There are no AP warrants.
Either of you gentlemen have any other business the commission needs to review? You do.
There was an email or two that went around recently that originated with Mr. Hoffman, who I think is the town treasurer.
Yeah.
Um,
Finance director.
So he was looking to confirm dollar amounts of retainage being held for several sewer projects, four actually, Elm Street Pump Station, Albert Street Sewer Replacement, East Union and Riverview Park Pump Stations, and then Lewis Street Sewer Replacement. Not only the dollar amounts, but also the amount of time that the retainage needs to be held. I haven't had a chance to respond yet, but I will do that. I will give that a priority.
These are all where we're holding on to retainage because of a completed contract.
Yes.
And we're looking for your advice that for the time, does the time is expired and we can
Well,
return or?
He wants to confirm the dollar amount.
That should be
and also-
retained,
Well, that is being
is,
retained.
that is being
Yeah.
retained.
So just
that-
looking for confirmation as to what he has listed as the dollar amounts, as well as the time frame for when that would be
Released.
released.
And if, if the projects have been, if everything is paid or if we're expecting another
Right.
bill or, just
So
kind of tie it
you're
up.
going to make a report back to the town treasurer
Mhm.
and that will satisfy him or does our commission have to review your numbers? Or do you
I'm gonna copy Lynn on it. as
copy
well,
Lynn
so
and
she can
Lynn will
distribute it.
backfill,
Sure.
That's fine.
please backfill us.
Yes,
with
he'll
the
be
message.
fine, yeah.
Yeah, on Lewis Street, that's closed out, but he brought up $12,000, but there was a credit on that project against application number 4, so there shouldn't be anything left.
So then we could just close out the PO if that's the
Yeah.
case.
I'll respond
Okay.
formally, but I do recall the
Okay.
credit.
Thank you.
And then, more generally, I need to make sure that the closeout paperwork for these projects is processed and signed, done.
And I assume all of your work is being covered under an agreement we already have for your time.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah, proceed with all that paperwork and calculating.
Good.
Carry on.
Yeah, okay.
I had,
It's important to keep the town treasurer happy.
Yes.
I had something Patty wanted me to bring up. CIP is due Friday.
Friday.
She wants to make sure we get that in.
Corey, we've already talked about having a list of projects you're gonna suggest for each year going forward?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Gonna be,
Once again, please don't be bashful with the amount.
no, you had a number in mind to keep it around, which I don't have any affirmative numbers on camera work, so we'll put a number on it and
Yes, I have no idea what, time on the job for a week of cameraing might cost.
and there's not a whole lot of companies around here that specifically do CCTV. I mean, Belmore does it, but he's on a very small scale. He only has one truck. There's Eastern, but I reached out to 2 other companies that are like nationwide companies that do it, and trying to get a price per foot to get an idea, but trying to get numbers.
I think I even received a postcard at home. Some firm wanted to camera my connection to the town.
Do you have any experience with?
Most recently, Eastern Pipe Service did some television inspection for Allenstown. That was in the last couple of months.
The product they provide, how extensive? Like, will they provide like notations by the
They give you logs.
logs and everything?
You
Do we
get-
get the video files?
Yes, you get both actually. You get a recording of the videotape itself, but you also get written logs, and you get an assessment, a condition assessment.
A couple of the other companies that I found, they actually, as they camera and they take measurements to all the services and all that, they can actually give it to the DPW, and they can actually add it all into the GIS. So all the connections are actually there, and you can actually look at it on
Oh,
GIS.
that'd
Yeah,
be
it's-
helpful.
Yeah,
It would be very helpful.
Part of the logs or report that you get, they include a diagram that shows the manhole to manhole. And then they have footages actually listed for all the service connections, as well as like if there's any issues with cracked or broken pipes, they have that called out, and they'll have a distance from the manhole to that location.
And a lot of times, there isn't a quarter of it that's actually drawn in on our GIS. If there isn't a tie card for that property, I revert back to the camera logs of 30 years ago, and you sit down with a book and you read it line by line.
Figure out which connection
Yeah,
probably
you
went
pull
to
up
each
the
house.
tax map with the address, and you can sit there and go, yep, this house, that house, this house, that house, and then double check it.
Yeah, and when we put a plan together for sewer line replacement, we actually rely on the television inspection reports for the distance to the house service to be able to show those on the drawing.
And we found that some of them are not super accurate, especially in the hills.
Yeah, but at least the contractor has
Something, yeah.
to look at, give him a sense that there's something there.
Does it provide the slope of the pipe as it goes along?
Yep.
It does, but then it tends to
Yeah,
bounce all over
yeah.
the place, so it's not terribly accurate.
But then again, you know the precise invert in and out of each manhole. Close.
Close. It's not all super accurate there.
Okay, as a final session, Lynn, you presented me the towns being audited,
yes.
and they typically want various departments to answer a risk assessment,
Right,
and I will do that and turn it in
okay,
in
great.
another day.
That would be perfect. Thank you.
I've done those.
That's what I thought, so.
I've done those several times before
Yeah.
for other boards.
I thought you had, so I thought you would take care
It's,
of it. Thank you.
It's a three-page questionnaire on risk management of handling money for the town. Okay, any further items?
No?
We typically would have another session of non-public comment, but just for the record, there's no one present, so no second session of public comment. Should we adjourn, Dan?
Motion to adjourn?
I second that. The board vote is yes.
Yay, yes.
Thank you.
Nice
Jim?
job. Nice job.